Monsoon mayhem in Himachal Pradesh. Bridges, cars swept away. The Kullu-Mandi highway is blocked. A rain red alert for 12 districts today.
Meanwhile, record-breaking rain leads to waterlogging in Delhi and the National Capital Region. Roads have caved in some areas as some cars have also submerged. Meanwhile, schools are shut in Delhi and Ghaziabad today, but there's work from home orders in Gurugram.
It's the Tamil Nadu Chief Minister versus Governor that has reached President Draupadi Murmu. Stalin writes to the President, lists what he calls violations. He says R.N. Ravi qualifies to be removed.
Our External Affairs Minister will file the Rajya Sabha nomination from Gandhinagar today. He will do this after the Election Commission has announced the schedule for the election on the 10 Rajya Sabha seats in Goa, Gujarat, West Bengal, which will be held on the 24th of this month. Welcome back. You are watching NDTV's Breakfast Bulletin. The big story today, we're tracking the monsoon mayhem in Himachal Pradesh, where highways are blocked, cars have been washed away, and tourists are still stranded as we speak.
That's right, Himachal Pradesh received 13 times above normal rainfall according to the Met Department. These are visuals of landslides coming in from Mandi, which of course been a big worry because landslides mean highways and key expressways being blocked.
Right, and the excessive rain has once again exposed the state of civic infrastructure in our cities. Just take a look at those dramatic visuals coming in from Mandi, where not only infrastructure but highways are also impacted.
So, well, our focus remains Mandi, and these are small overbridges that have collapsed because of heavy rain there, and the Bias is flowing above danger levels, which means that it's wreaking havoc as far as overbridges, highways, expressways are concerned. The Kullu-Mandi highway, the crucial highway, has been blocked, cars washed away, and roads sinking there in Himachal Pradesh.
We also have visuals coming in of the NDRF conducting their rescues late last night in Mandi. Himachal Pradesh is one of the worst impacted areas due to the incessant rainfall. But as we've been speaking to our voices on the ground, rescue efforts are currently on across areas, especially areas like Mandi, which are severely impacted due to these flash floods.
And moving to the national capital now, several areas of Delhi were waterlogged. There was severe flooding in several parts of the national capital as well. In fact, schools are shut in Delhi, Ghaziabad, and also there's work from home that's been ordered for Gurugram. And now these are visuals from some of the most posh areas of the national capital, visuals from Gurugram there, where traffic snarls and traffic jams continued yesterday because of waterlogging.
And as torrential rains lash Himachal Pradesh, this video showing a car being washed away in the Bias River, a truck actually near Kullu, has surfaced. Just take a look at these dramatic visuals of that truck just floating. This parked truck can be seen starting to sink and swept away with the river's heavy flow. And there are reports also of power outages across Himachal Pradesh.
And moving to Rajasthan now, well, in Ajmer, rainwater entered the JLN hospital after heavy rainfall, and the patients had to be shifted from this particular ward that was totally inundated.
Meanwhile, these are visuals coming in from Jammu and Kashmir's Doda this morning. Again, incessant rain has caused flash floods there. Civic infrastructure is severely impacted. Houses are inundated. About 3,000 vehicles were stranded along the Srinagar-Jammu highway, where a portion of the road had also caved in yesterday.
In fact, Amarnath Yatris also stuck there in Jammu and Kashmir. Over 80,000 Amarnath Yatris are stranded because of heavy rain and flash floods in Jammu and Kashmir. 2 soldiers also drowned in flash floods. And well, visuals coming in from the Tunak Bazaar in Mandi, dramatic visuals there of flash floods completely inundating a road, and of course you can imagine the situation of the people living there. In fact, a lot of people are being evacuated to safer areas, and our reporter on the ground has also confirmed that near the Mandi Bazaar the situation is pretty bad because it's close to the Bias River, and now people are being evacuated.
As Vedant mentioned, dramatic visuals coming in from different parts of North India. Our voices on the ground and local officials inform us that Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand are going to be impacted over the next 2-3 days. The visuals you see on your screens at the moment are from Dehradun, where a bus was stranded in the middle of a flash flood. You can see those people there stranded atop the bus as it cannot move. It's immobile due to the flash floods. Earlier today, we spoke to a stringer on the ground in Mandi, Govind Thakur, who says it's been raining incessantly since the last 24 hours. He told us about the ground situation and the rescue operations that are currently in place.
पिछले 3 दिनों से लगातार बारिश हो रही है और तीनों तरफ से भारी नुकसान की खबर है। मंडी का ऐतिहासिक जो पंचवक्कर मंदिर था और वहां पे जो साथ में ब्रिज था वो बह चुका है। ये मंडी को रात को 8:30 बजे की ये घटना है। पंडोह के साथ ब्यास नदी के ऊपर जो सिवा बदार की तरफ जाते हैं पुल है वो भारी बहाव के चलते बह गया हुआ है। औट और बंजार, औट से जो अंदर बंजार को सड़क जाता है वो पुल भी बह गया है। मनाली के पास जो साथ में सड़क के किनारे गाड़ियां लगी हुई थी 15 से 20 गाड़ियां बह चुकी हुई हैं। और मंडी डिस्ट्रिक्ट में बल घाटी है जहां से पूरे उत्तरी भारत को टमाटर की सप्लाई हो रही थी। वहां पे 500 या 600 करोड़ का व्यवसाय होता है, तो सारे खेत जो है वो पानी से भर चुके हैं और फसल भी पूरी तरह से बर्बाद हो गई है। डीसी मंडी अरविंदम चौधरी जी और एसपी मैडम सौम्या सांभवी शिवम वो पूरी तरह से सतर्क हैं। लोगों को हाई अलर्ट किया गया है, जगह जगह गाड़ियां घुमाई जा रही हैं, लोगों को सचेत किया जा रहा है। और मंडी से जो भ्यूली क्षेत्र है और उसके आसपास के क्षेत्र है, मंडी बाजार है जो, वहां से लोगों को ब्यास नदी के पास से सेफ जगह पे शिफ्ट किया जा रहा है। सबसे बड़ी बात यह है कि जो हमारे पूर्व मुख्यमंत्री हैं वो सराज क्षेत्र से आते हैं। सराज के थुनाग में बादल फटने की खबर आई थी और वहां पे पूरे बाजार में जो 1-2 घर बहे हैं, लकड़ियां हैं, सारे बाजार में आई हुई हैं। काफी वीडियो वायरल हुआ है, लेकिन अभी तक किसी के हताहत होने की या किसी के सिर्फ नुकसान की खबरें आई हुई हैं। कोई लॉस की, ह्यूमन लॉस हुआ हो उस तरह की खबर अभी तक नहीं आई हुई है। एनडीआरएफ टीम्स को सभी को सतर्क कर दिया गया हुआ है और सभी अपने लोकल लेवल्स पे लगे हुए हैं। अभी जो हमारा है डिस्ट्रिक्ट कुल्लू में भी 6 लोग फंसे हुए थे, 6 लोगों को वहां से रेस्क्यू कर दिया गया है रात के 2 बजे। ये ब्यास नदी के साथ ऊपर जो है एक एरिया में वहां फंसे हुए थे, तो रात के 2 बजे उन सबको सेफली बाहर निकाल दिया गया हुआ है।
So, my colleague Ankit Tyagi also spoke to the Deputy Chief Minister of Himachal Pradesh, who's also the Transport Minister there, on the kind of preparations that the state has made and why every year monsoon means havoc for the hill state.
अभी राज्य में क्या हालात हैं? सुबह से जो लगातार तस्वीरें सोशल मीडिया पे देख रहे हैं वो बहुत डराने वाली तस्वीरें हैं।
देखिए हिमाचल प्रदेश में ये मानसून की जो शुरुआती बारिशें हैं इसने पूरा तांडव मचा दिया है। नदियां सारे खतरे के मार्ग से जो है ऊपर चली गई हैं और खास तौर पे कुल्लू मनाली जो हमारा एरिया है, जो टूरिस्ट जहां पे सबसे ज्यादा आते हैं, वहां पे इस समय नदियां जो है पूरे उफान पे है, पूरे रुद्र रूप धारण किए हुए हैं। और प्रशासन हमने निर्देश दे रखा है, सब लोग सड़कों पे हैं, लेकिन नुकसान बहुत हो रहा है। कई पुल बह गए हैं, गाड़ियां बह गई हैं और नदियां जो हैं कई जगह सड़कों पे आ गई हैं। तो इसलिए ऐसा रौद्र रूप जो है इसका कभी कभार 8-10 साल में एक बार आता है, लेकिन इस बार बहुत तेज जो है पिछले 72 घंटे से लगातार बारिश की वजह से ऐसे हालात पैदा हो गए हैं।
तो क्या आप केंद्र सरकार से भी मदद मांग रहे हैं, आर्थिक मदद के साथ साथ एनडीआरएफ की और आर्मी की मदद?
नेचुरली हिमाचल प्रदेश को मदद तो करनी पड़ेगी क्योंकि नुकसान सड़कों का बहुत हो गया है। अब मैं आपको बताऊं कि जैसे जल शक्ति विभाग को मैं देखता हूं तो 323 करोड़ रुपए का 323 करोड़ रुपए का नुकसान अकेले पानी विभाग का हो गया है
जी।
और आज हमारे बसेस का जैसे 875 बसेस आज हमारी जो है हमें उनका ऑपरेशन रद्द करना पड़ा। हम उनको नीचे, और हमारी 450 के आसपास बसेस जो है एचआरटीसी के हिमाचल पथ परिवहन निगम की 450 के आसपास बसेस जो है जगह जगह रुकी पड़ी हैं क्योंकि उनको बाहर नहीं लाया जा सकता। तो इसी ढंग से सड़कों का नुकसान हुआ है, पुलों का नुकसान हुआ है, हर तरफ नुकसान का मंजर आप देख रहे हैं। और राज्य के पास अपने रिसोर्सेज लिमिटेड होते हैं, इसलिए केंद्र को हिमाचल प्रदेश की मदद के लिए तो आगे आना ही चाहिए।
And ironically, there was extreme waterlogging and almost knee-deep water even outside the residence of the Delhi PWD and Finance Minister Atishi.
And the BJP hit out at the Aam Aadmi Party government, questioning what can the government promise for the common people if the minister's own house cannot be saved from waterlogging.
For clarity on the forecast and rescue reliefs on the ground, joining us on the broadcast now are Brigadier Dr. Vinod Datta, retired, former senior consultant at the National Institute of Disaster Management. Also on the broadcast this morning with us, Mahesh Palawat, Vice President of Climate Change at SkyMet Weather.
Let's first go across to you, Mr. Mahesh Palawat. What is the forecast as of now? I mean, the IMD figures come at around 8:30. But right now, what do you see in terms of your predictions and SkyMet's prediction as far as Himachal Pradesh and the hill states are concerned? Because today, monsoon is also expected to impact Uttarakhand severely.
Yes, Vedanta, we were warning people since last 2 to 3 days about the heavy to very heavy rainfall over hilly states of Jammu, Kashmir, Uttarakhand and Himachal Pradesh. And now also the rain activities will continue over parts of Jammu Kashmir, particularly lower and eastern parts of Jammu Kashmir and parts of Himachal Pradesh for another 24 hours. Thereafter, the rain activities will shift towards Uttarakhand, although Uttarakhand will continue with moderate to heavy showers today as well. But now the focus will be shifting over Uttarakhand, and Uttarakhand will be receiving heavy to very heavy rain for at least next 2 to 3 days. So we can say that the next 2 to 3 days are very crucial, and western disturbance is over, although it is a feeble western disturbance, it is over hills of western Himalayas, and the axis of monsoon trough is also shifting towards the foothills of Himalayas. That's why the rain activities will be heavy to very heavy for another 24 to 48 hours. Yeah.
Right. So Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand are likely to receive more rain. It is a crucial 2 to 3 days, as Mr. Palawat is pointing out. Brigadier Datta, you've seen the extent of the damage in Himachal Pradesh so far. In such a scenario, give us a sense of the rescue efforts on the ground. Also, this is a tragic deja vu. We were just discussing, Vedant and I. We see this every year. Is there a way to be better prepared for a situation like this?
Yeah, I agree with you, because it is a yearly phenomena which is seen. And if you talk of Himachal Pradesh being hilly area, they have seen this kind of rains earlier also. But the problem is that our civic sense and our civic governance is so brittle that the day it is put to test, it breaks like a vapor. If you talk of urban flooding, this all started with Mumbai in 2005. And if you see Lutyens, like what is being shown on media these days, Lutyens Delhi is inundated, which was, never heard earlier. And the reason is the kind of concretization which we are doing. We used to have islands of, kacha land all across where trees were planted, where they used to absorb a lot of water which used to come. It is agreed that yes, the rains have been unprecedented, but the water and sanitation arrangements are in a very, very sad state of neglect. Nobody is bothered about it, and people think that there'll be a hue and cry for 2 days and everything will be hunky dory after that. So the people have to be squarely blamed, rather than having a blame game. That party X or party Y is responsible. People should join hands together and carry out the rescue operations. If I give you the figures, like between 2006 and 2017, we have lost 19,000 crore of rupees worth of property in urban flooding. And the total loss because of the flood has been 1,07,535 crores, which is phenomenal. And urban flooding is now creating such a havoc that mostly all the cities are now vulnerable because of this.
Right.
Now, yeah.
Fair point there, but Mr. Pelawat, as Parmeshwar is also asking, can we be better prepared? And one part of it really is accurate warnings, and this is something that I always ask you as well. How can IMD and the Med Department be more accurate when it comes to their alerts, when it comes to their warnings? Because every time we see that, we are almost caught off guard when, such kind of weather conditions prevail, because our warnings are not accurate. So how can that system be, in a sense, transformed to be more accurate?
See, there are many ways to predict the weather. One is to study the models. But models are only guidelines. We have to study weather charts also. That's why in SkyMet we have been predicting heavy to very heavy downpours since last 2 to 3 days, and chances of cloudburst also over hilly regions. And Delhi NCR, eastern parts of Rajasthan, parts of Punjab, Haryana, northwest Uttar Pradesh, we have issued an alert about this type of inclement weather conditions, and but it depends upon the administration how they react to our warnings. But yes, we think that this type of extreme weather events are increasing year by year, and the rainfall, which used to occur in a span of 4 to 5 days, is taking place in just 24 hours. So although there are incidents of heavy to very heavy downpour in past also, but the intensity and frequency has increased now. We have seen in 1982, 26 July, the rainfall was 169.9 millimeter, and in 1958 it was more than 200 millimeter. But they were isolated incidents. But now, year after year, we are witnessing 2 to 3 to 4 incidents of such heavy downpour in a single month, like particularly in the month of July and August. So the administration has to get prepared to handle this type of situation. Yeah.
Right. Brigadier Datta, you had touched upon something crucial, which was urban flooding. Now, how exactly do you propose in the long run? How do we tackle the issue of urban flooding? And as far as hilly areas are concerned, we've seen increased construction steadily over the past few years. Do you think it's time to put curbs there with these increased reports, as Mr. Pelawat was mentioning, of extreme weather events, of flash floods, and then of concurrent landslides?
Yeah, I agree with you, because if you see the hilly areas, you see there is something called the land potential. The land potential has been, overutilized. If you see Shimla, because I had carried out a study, I was part of the study when there was a water crisis, where I read the blueprint of Shimla. It was meant to, for only 80,000 people. Now during peak, summer season, more than 1 lakh people, they land there. So what people or the authorities have to think is that the land potential has to be factored in while planning the cities. The the urban planning is like ginger. It is like a ginger growth. Jahan bhi wo dekhte hain, the colonies, they come up. So water and sanitation have to be declared as state or national assets. They should be cleaned. The concretization has to be only accepted. It should be acceptable up to a limit. You should have those, kacha spots which were there, because they absorb a lot of water. They also enrich the aquifer. So if we are going to concretize everything, we are going to have these kind of situations, like desilting of these nalas and various other outlets or the wet pans. That has to be done regularly. What is being done is that the desilting is done and it is left on the road. So with the first rain available, it gets back into the drain. So unless we declare these as national or state assets, nothing is going to happen. And the losses, as I gave you the figures, is going to be phenomenal. So the public system has to be totally kept ticking, and the advance planning has to be done, because we are generally reactive. We never take any steps. Like if you put these pumps to siphon out these waterlogging areas, you can have those makeshift arrangements in tanks and all, and that can be flushed out, so that the water doesn't clog and people don't suffer. Because the moment it enters, there will be a lot of connected issues. The buildings will fall, the damage to property, people will be on the roads, then health and hygiene issues. So the government has to see in total.
All right, so of course a big concern there are the hill states, and as we've been pointing out, that civic infrastructure, that collapsing civic infrastructure when it comes to states like Himachal Pradesh is extremely concerning, and well, the government has to now focus on rescue efforts, because of course the extent of damage and loss of life is something that is still unknown. Thanks so much, gentlemen, for joining us on the broadcast.
Well, as torrential rains lash Himachal Pradesh, we've got videos showing cars being washed away as the Beas river flows above the danger mark near Kullu. We've also got dramatic visuals coming in from the Thunag Bazaar. And the worst part is the Met Department predicts that the next 2-3 days are going to be crucial, not just for Himachal Pradesh, but for Uttarakhand as well. We spoke to our reporters on the ground who mentioned that there's been continuous rain since the last 3 days. There's massive destruction across Himachal Pradesh. We are getting you visuals from Mandi on your screens at the moment. A key bridge in Mandi was swept away last night at around 8:30 p.m. We've shown you NDRF rescue operations as well going on through the thick of the night, and they carry on as we speak even now. A bridge towards Banjar was broken due to a heavy rain, is what we're being told. As far as the state of civil infrastructure is concerned, it has been heavily impacted across areas and villages in Himachal Pradesh. There you can see a truck being swept away in Kullu on the right side of your screens. On the left side of your screens, you can see flash floods in Mandi. Now, tomato supply across North India has unfortunately been cut off. We have been reporting the skyrocketing vegetable prices due to the weather. The prices were affected. However, now we're being told by a stringer in Mandi that the tomato supply across North India has been cut off, and tomatoes worth 500 to 600 crore rupees have been damaged. That's what we're getting to know from local reports. Locals, meanwhile, have been alerted regarding the rescue operations as well as the weather forecast. Right, I'm told we're joined by the SP of Mandi at the moment over the phone line. We're joined by Soumya Sambasivan. Thank you so much, ma'am, for making time for us. I know it's a precarious time for you. We hope you and your teams are safe. Could you tell us how bad is the situation in Mandi and what are the worst impacted areas across Himachal at the moment?
The situation in the entire region, that is, which includes Kullu belt as well, it's really worrisome. And right now we have just got 2 dead bodies till now. One yesterday in a place called Tikan, which is bordering Kangra, and one we have identified in Pando. And the traffic movement has been completely stopped. We have evacuated all the houses which were located near the rivers, and till now no casualty has been reported in the mainland, that is Mandi.
Right, thank you, ma'am, for those crucial details. So far, we had no confirmation about any loss of life, but as Ms. Soumya is pointing out, unfortunately, 2 deaths have been recorded up till now. Meanwhile, the traffic movement has been completely stopped. But as far as the update on artillery highways is concerned, ma'am, do we have an estimate on when traffic movement is expected to resume?
No, definitely not now. We won't be able to comment upon it. The reason being the rains have again increased, and also all the rivers are unsafe. So once they come down, once the water level goes down, and there is a lot of loss and damage that has occurred on the construction as well. So only after that, once the rains come to a complete stop, then we would be able to comment upon it.
Right, ma'am, in terms of the rescue operations and the relief efforts on the ground, could you give us a sense of what's happening currently?
I'm sorry, can you come again?
I'm saying in terms of the rescue operations and relief efforts on the ground, ma'am, could you give us a sense of what is happening currently?
Yeah, in terms of rescue, I can tell you that all the places which are under danger zone and which could come under this danger zone have been evacuated, number one. And people who were stranded in their houses and where the water level suddenly surged, they have also been removed. And as far as relief operations are concerned, the tourists who were stranded, they have been accommodated in the gurdwaras, and also they have made alternate arrangements in the hotels, and food has also been supplied over there.
Well, thank you so much, ma'am, for joining us. We do hope your teams and you stay safe. Do keep us updated about the relief efforts from the ground. But that was the Superintendent of Police, Soumya Sambasivan, joining us with a quick update from the ground in Himachal Pradesh. We'll keep tracking all the latest developments for you. For now, we're slipping into a very short break. Welcome back. Let's get you an update now from Tamil Nadu. The face-off between the Chief Minister M.K. Stalin and Governor R.N. Ravi has escalated to the President now. Tamil Nadu Chief Minister M.K. Stalin has written to President Draupadi Murmu complaining against the Governor R.N. Ravi. He has said Mr. Ravi qualifies to be removed from the Governor's position, adding an alleged list of violations by him.
And when it comes...
Let's take a quick look at the international headlines. US President Joe Biden arrived in London late on Sunday for the start of a three-nation tour that will include meetings with Prime Minister Rishi Sunak and a discussion on climate change with King Charles at the Windsor Castle today. Rishi Sunak has gone some way in repairing ties with Biden after the relationship cooled under his predecessors Boris Johnson and Liz Truss due to their tough stance over a post-Brexit deal with the European Union and Johnson's closer ties to Republican former President Donald Trump. We'll get you the latest international update in a bit, but the Himachal's Chief Minister is currently addressing the media. Let's listen into what he has to say.
यानी कि 1100 1070 1077 और इन नंबरों पर आप कॉल करके जो भी कोई व्यक्ति आपदा में फंसा उसकी जानकारी आप इन नंबरों के माध्यम से हमारे माध्यम से पहुंचा सकते हैं। मैं भी 24 घंटे आपकी सेवा के लिए उपलब्ध हूं। मेरा टेलीफोन 24 घंटे आपके लिए खुला रहेगा। इस आपदा की घड़ी में मैं सभी विधायकों से एक बार फिर अनुरोध करना चाहता हूं कि वो अपने विधानसभा क्षेत्र में रहें, लोगों पर जो विपदा आई है उसमें उनका सहयोग कर रहे हैं और जो नुकसान हुआ है नुकसान की भरपाई के लिए भी आप लोगों के साथ सहयोग करें। जो लोग अभी फंसे हुए हैं हमारी सरकार उनको निकालने का प्रयास कर रही है। 14 के करीब इस आपदा में लोगों की जान गई है। मेरा सभी से एक बार फिर प्रार्थना है कि हिमाचल प्रदेश में इस विपदा की घड़ी में सभी प्रदेशवासी एकजुट होकर सरकार का सहयोग करें और अगले 24 घंटों में घरों में ही बने रहें क्योंकि अधिक तेज आंधी और बारिश की संभावना है। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। जय हिंद, जय हिमाचल।
Right, you have just heard from the Himachal Pradesh Chief Minister who says the next 24 hours are crucial for the state as incessant torrential rains have impacted not just civil infrastructure, but as the SP who was speaking to earlier, Ms. Soumya mentioned, 2 deaths have also been recorded in this state. Now, the Chief Minister has just spoken, asking for everyone to cooperate in the relief efforts and to maintain, to stick to the SOP put in place by the state government as massive destruction has been recorded across Himachal Pradesh. As we've been reporting, a key bridge in Mandi was swept away last night. NDRF rescue operations are currently on. We know another bridge was swept away in the Beas River. Now, the Beas River is also currently flowing above the danger mark. This is all due to the torrential rain in the past 3 days. We spoke to our stringer on the ground, Govind Thakur, who had mentioned that about 15 to 20 cars on the road to Manali was swept away. Meanwhile, again, access to bare necessities is a problem you can imagine, with roads cut off, villages cut off, power outages recorded across Himachal Pradesh. Locals, meanwhile, have been alerted, but there has been a cloudburst in Tunag, where you can see on the right side of your screens, visuals are coming in from Mandi. Local markets are affected. Not just local markets, but daily life has come to a standstill as access to bare necessities, daily goods like milk, vegetables, everything is impacted. Rescue operations, though, are currently underway across Kulu and along the Beas River, as well as several other areas within Himachal Pradesh. Well, let's take a quick look at the international headlines. US President Joe Biden arrived in London late last night for the start of a three-nation tour that will include meetings with Prime Minister Rishi Sunak, as well as the discussion on climate change with King Charles at the Windsor Castle today. Now, Rishi Sunak has gone some way in repairing ties with Biden after the relationship cooled under his predecessors Boris Johnson, as well as Liz Truss, due to their tough stance over a post-Brexit deal with the European Union, as well as Johnson's closer ties to Republican former President Donald Trump. US President Joe Biden expressed a desire to see Sweden join NATO as soon as possible in a phone call with the Turkish President Tayyip Erdogan, in which they discussed Sweden's bid to become a member of the Western Alliance, which is what the White House has said on record. Now, Turkey, along with Hungary, has been a stumbling block to Sweden's bid, which requires unanimous approval by all NATO members. But Erdogan accuses Sweden of being too lenient on anti-Islamic demonstrations and militant Kurdish groups that have waged a long insurgency in Turkey. Well, our big focus this morning is Himachal Pradesh and the incessant rain that's been happening for 3 days. Well, the Met Department has said the heavy rain alert is on for all districts in Himachal Pradesh even today. In fact, SkyMet's Mahesh Palawat had mentioned the next 24 hours are very crucial, not just for Himachal Pradesh, but for Uttarakhand as well. If we focus on Himachal Pradesh and the adjoining areas, well, the next 24 hours, there's a rain red alert in Kullu and in Chamba as well. In several other districts, there's also very heavy rain alert for 4 districts of Punjab. Meanwhile, in Himachal, the Shimla-Kalka trains have been cancelled for the next 2 days. What we can share with you is the Ravi, the Beas River and the Satluj and the Yamuna River, the water levels are rising there. They are breaching the danger mark. All rivers, tributaries are in full spate. But much to our dismay and unfortunately, 3 key bridges have been swept away in Himachal Pradesh. We've been showing you the dramatic visuals coming in since yesterday. There has been extensive damage to civil infrastructure. There has also been loss of life. As far as Himachal Pradesh is concerned, thanks to the SP, we can confirm that we have 2 recorded deaths since the torrential rains on record so far. So far, all houses near the river in Himachal Pradesh have been evacuated. All those living there have been evacuated, while rescue operations are on in Kullu and along the Beas River. As torrential rains lash Himachal Pradesh, this video showing a truck being washed away in the Beas River near Kullu has surfaced. Just take a look at it. You can see that truck that was parked. You can see it starting to sink and then consequently being swept away with the river's heavy flow. Not just this, the roads are inundated, but there are also reports of many power outages across villages and cities in Himachal Pradesh. In fact, 5 national highways, Mandi Kullu, Gramfu to Losar, Kullu to Monali, Auth to Jalori and the NH 707 near Shillai are currently shut for traffic. Meanwhile, in Rajasthan's Ajmer, rainwater entered this hospital, the JLN hospital, after heavy rainfall. The patients from this ward had to be shifted to another ward after this ward was completely inundated due to heavy rainfall in Rajasthan's Ajmer. And we have visuals coming in from Jammu and Kashmir's Doda, where the Chenab River is also overflowing. About 3,000 vehicles have been stranded along the Srinagar-Jammu highway, where a portion of the road too had caved in yesterday. These are visuals coming in from Mandi's Thunak Bazaar, where local market operations have obviously been suspended and locals have been instructed not to leave their homes, as you can see that sludge rolling down. Dramatic visuals coming in from several parts of Himachal Pradesh, specifically Mandi and Kullu. In fact, you can see a house collapsed in Kullu due to the torrential rains. Himachal Pradesh has received 13 times the normal amount of rain that it usually receives. This is as per the Met Department, but the excessive rain has once again exposed the state of civic infrastructure in the hilly areas. In fact, you know, summer is such a popular time for tourists from the plains to actually head up to the hills for a respite from the weather. But we can see a bus submerged in Kulu. There you can see that bus totally submerged in Manali, I beg your pardon. The water levels have risen in Kulu, as we've been extensively covering since the morning. The Met Department has said very heavy rain is expected in parts of Himachal Pradesh for the next 24 hours. The focus will also shift to Uttarakhand as the day progresses. But the Met Department says that all those in Himachal have been evacuated from the rivers, from those areas bordering the rivers. The monsoon mayhem, though, continues in the state as highways are blocked. Cars have been washed away, not just cars, trucks too. And a heavy rain alert is on for Kullu, Kangra and the Chamba region in Himachal Pradesh. The excessive rain, as we've been highlighting, has shown a light on the state of our civic infrastructure and the concretization of the hills, as we've been steadily focusing on in the past few years. Earlier today, we actually spoke to the SP regarding the ground situation. Here's what the Superintendent of Police, Ms. Soumya, had to say.
The situation in the entire region, that is, which includes Kulu belt as well, it's really worrisome. And right now we have just got 2 dead bodies till now. One yesterday in a place called Tikan, which is bordering Kangra, and one we have identified in Pando. And the traffic movement has been completely stopped. We have evacuated all the houses which were located near the rivers. And till now, no casualty has been reported in the mainland, that is Mandi.
Right, thank you, ma'am, for those crucial details. So far, we had no confirmation about any loss of life, but as Ms. Soumya is pointing out, unfortunately, 2 deaths have been recorded up till now. Meanwhile, the traffic movement has been completely stopped. But as far as the update on artillery highways is concerned, ma'am, do we have an estimate on when traffic movement is expected to resume?
No, definitely not now. We won't be able to comment upon it. The reason being the rains have again increased, and also all the rivers are in state. So once they come down, once the water level goes down, and there is a lot of loss and damage that has occurred on the construction as well. So only after that, once the rains come to a complete stop, then we would be able to comment upon it.
Right, ma'am. In terms of the rescue operations and the relief efforts on the ground, could you give us a sense of what's happening currently?
In terms of rescue, I can tell you that all the places which are under danger zone and which could come under this danger zone have been evacuated, number one. And people who were stranded in their houses and where the water level suddenly surged, they have also been removed. And as far as relief operations are concerned, the tourists who were stranded, they have been accommodated in the gurdwaras, and also they have made alternate arrangements in the hotels, and food has also been supplied over there.
Earlier today, we also spoke to our reporter Govind Thakur for the latest from Ground Zero. He reported from Mandi, where he said there's been torrential rain since the past 3 days. Rescue efforts are currently on, but he also told us about access to bare necessities being cut off.
पिछले 3 दिनों से लगातार बारिश हो रही है और तीनों तरफ से भारी नुकसान की खबर है। मंडी का ऐतिहासिक जो पंचवक्कर मंदिर था, वहां पे जो साथ में ब्रिज था वो बह चुका है। ये मंडी को रात को 8:30 बजे की ये घटना है। पंडों के साथ ब्यास नदी के ऊपर जो सिवा बदार की तरफ जाते हैं पुल है, वो भारी बहाव के चलते बह गया हुआ है। औट और बंजार, औट से जो अंदर बंजार को सड़क जाता है वो पुल भी बह गया है। मनाली के पास जो साथ में सड़क के किनारे गाड़ियां लगी हुई थी, 15 से 20 गाड़ियां बह चुकी हुई हैं। और मंडी डिस्ट्रिक्ट में बल घाटी है, जहां से पूरे उत्तरी भारत को टमाटर की सप्लाई हो रही थी। वहां पे 500 या 600 करोड़ का व्यवसाय होता है, तो सारे खेत जो है वो पानी से भर चुके हैं और फसल भी पूरी तरह से बर्बाद हो गई है। डीसी मंडी अरविंदम चौधरी जी और एसपी मैडम सौम्या सांभवी शिवम वो पूरी तरह से सतर्क हैं। लोगों को हाई अलर्ट किया गया है, जगह जगह गाड़ियां घुमाई जा रही हैं, लोगों को सचेत किया जा रहा है। और मंडी से जो भ्यूली क्षेत्र है और उसके आसपास के क्षेत्र है, मंडी बाजार है जो, वहां से लोगों को ब्यास नदी के पास से सेफ जगह पे शिफ्ट किया जा रहा है। सबसे बड़ी बात ये है कि जो हमारे पूर्व मुख्यमंत्री हैं वो सराज क्षेत्र से आते हैं। सराज के थुनाग में बादल फटने की खबर आई थी और वहां पे पूरे बाजार में जो एक दो घर बहे हैं, लकड़ियां हैं, सारे बाजार में आई हुई हैं। काफी वीडियो वायरल हुआ है, लेकिन अभी तक किसी के हताहत होने की या किसी के सिर्फ नुकसान की खबरें आई हुई हैं। कोई लॉस की, ह्यूमन लॉस हुआ हो, उस तरह की खबर अभी तक नहीं आई हुई है।
Welcome back. In Himachal Pradesh, landslides and flash floods triggered by incessant rains in the last 2-3 days have damaged houses, structures and paralyzed normal life. Some shops and vehicles were also washed away in flash floods, as we've been covering through Manali, Kullu, Kinnaur and Chamba. All 5 major rivers, meanwhile, in Himachal Pradesh, including the Ravi, the Beas, the Satluj and the Chenab, are in spate. Joining us on the broadcast for a quick update on the ground situation is Ankush Sood, journalist from DD News. Ankush joins us live from Mandi at the moment. Thank you so much, Ankush, for making time for us. Give us a sense of the extent of the damage in Mandi at the moment.
Yeah, this is after almost 30 years. In 95, we have seen such floods out here, and the river was flowing much above the HFL mark, which is the highest flood line in last 20-30 years. So Beas was, it was almost 1,20,000 cusic per second, due to which all gates from the Largi Dam and the Pundo Dam had to be opened up. And, you know, the water was so much that it was overflowing the national highway, Mandi-Thalor, due to which, and there were a lot of landslides because it's continuously raining here from last 2 days. So, national highway was submerged. Even now, it's close near Dwada. There are 2-3 points which are vulnerable, and there are a lot of landslides. You can see behind me, it's raining. I'll show the shots. See, though the water level in the Beas has gone down, but the situation is not very good. Even the Chief Minister has issued a, requested tourists not to come at this time, and the locals also to remain inside their houses. And the administration, they are trying hard to control the situation.
Ankush, the weather department has predicted more downpour for Himachal Pradesh?
Yes, today they have issued a warning of a higher rainfall, and it's now also, it's raining very heavily. Last night also it has rained very heavily, but there's one good thing, that the water level in the Beas has gone down, which is a relief for the people. But the national highway can be only restored once this rainfall stops. Only then the administration can put up heavy machinery to clear the roads. At the moment, the connectivity from Manali, there are 2 roads. One is the national highway and the other is the alternate via command, we call it. Both the roads are closed at the moment. And we just had a word with the administration that say, even if the weather clear off, it will be late by evening when they will be able to restore them.
Right. So, Ankush, the summer is anyways a time when tourists flock to the hills. We are getting reports that tourists are currently stranded, whether it's on the road or in their hotels. Can you give us a sense of the key artillery highways that are still blocked?
As I told you, the highway is still blocked. And it's 2-3 points. See, it's this year only that the 4-lane highway has stopped. And whenever new roads are carved in the hills, for 2-3 years, we have a lot of landslides. And this place, especially between the Pando and Ott, this is the most vulnerable point, where 2-3 points are such that there's a heavy rainfall and even the water has gone above the this national highway, which is very close, which runs very close to the river at that point.
Right. So currently, 5 national highways, the Mandi Kullu, the Gramfu to Losar, Kullu to Manali, Ott to Jalori and NH 707 near Shilai are actually shut for traffic, as my colleague Ankush Sood is reporting live from Mandi. But Ankush, you had mentioned the Beas, the level of the water was stabilizing. Currently, is it fair to say that all major rivers are still in spate?
Yes, definitely they are in spate. The water at this moment is almost 5 to 10 times what it normally is in the rivers. Since it's raining continuously, the water will flow down. So even if the rain stops today, it takes almost 2 to 3 days to drain out the water and the level goes down.
Right, so it is going to take almost the next 48 to 72 hours to drain out the gushing water that we've been seeing since the last 48 hours. But also in terms of the supply of bare necessities, is supply of essentials like vegetables impacted?
See, right up to Mandi, we have roads cleared from Chandigarh to this place. Supplies come down from Chandigarh side. They are okay out here, but in Manali, they are, you can't, since the traffic is not there, so bread, milk and daily needs, they don't reach Manali. But at Mandi, the situation is good. Things are under control. Even, some social organizations, they have come up with a free accommodation for tourists and all. And the administration is taking a very good care. All the IAS officers and these administrative officers, they are roaming around, checking the things. You might have seen the incident last night. Some migrant laborers were struck on the other side of the river. NDRF conducted an operation right till midnight and brought them safe on the other side.
Yes, in fact, we've been showing you those visuals. They're on the left side of the screen for our viewers to see as well. The NDRF has been on the job ever since last night. But Ankush, also any word on the Thunak Bazaar landslide? We had seen dramatic visuals from Thunak Bazaar with a lot of sludge being washed out, as we can see on our screens at the moment. Any update as far as this area in Mandi is concerned?
Yes, the hill above this Thunak market saw a flash flood. So there was a lot of water and this dirt smog coming down. So people made a noise, raised an alert, and it was a good part that the slug was a little slow. Though it took away a home and got into the shops, there's a huge loss of property. But faithfully, there was no loss of life or anybody missing reported from that village.
Well, hopefully we will not have any unfortunate news coming in from Himachal Pradesh. But Ankush, has the administration cleared out the riverside parking areas and the banks of the river? We've seen dramatic visuals of buses, of trucks and cars being washed away coming in since yesterday.
See, as I told you, in last 30 years, this is the highest mark. Though the administration tried hard and they removed the parkings, which were authorized parking, they have removed vehicles from there. People were removed. People living in Jhugis near migrant labor living in Kullu and Mandi, they were taken to safe places. But still, even the water reached the highest marks. So at many places like in Kasol, you saw the rivers which, in social media, the pictures were viral. Around a dozen of vehicles washed away. And similarly in Aut Thana, the vehicles impounded by the police, around 8 to 10 trucks and light motor vehicles and motorcycles, they were washed away. Since the river was so fast and furious, it cut the side and it went into the Aut Thana premises, and all those vehicles were also washed away.
Well, Ankush, thank you so much for joining us with that update. We do hope that your family is safe and you stay safe. Thank you so much for joining us with the latest from Ground Zero in Mandi. As Ankush Sood is reporting, so far up until from Chandigarh to Mandi, things are fairly normalizing at the moment. However, Manali is the big question mark, as it is cut off. Daily essentials like bread, milk, vegetables are a bit of a problem there to access at the moment. But local administration in Himachal Pradesh, as the Chief Minister mentioned, is on the job to make sure that normal life resumes. But as we've been covering in Himachal Pradesh, landslides and flash floods triggered by incessant rain have damaged houses, they've damaged infrastructure and paralyzed normal life. In fact, some shops and vehicles have been washed away in flash floods in Manali, in Kullu and Chamba, as all major rivers are in spate in Himachal Pradesh.